there is the mock-up, and it sits forward a little bit farther in the wheel well, which is okay, only because I want this plate to land in front of this frame section so I can clean it off, weld it, depending on where that sits down. Section in there may get trimmed out, might not, might get beat in, cleaned up, welded on, and then figuring out where all of this goes. So, current transmission mount, cross-member transmission for F-150 frame. We can cut down more if necessary. Also figuring out the placement, and depending on that, we have quite a cavity space. Mind you, this is going to come down a couple inches on the potentials, and it also depends on where it sits in the rear, because I still have to slide that section in, but that is where we're sitting. I have to get some light in there, see where all of our steering linkage and stuff goes. Cool part is, where it may need to go, we can trim away frame section up there. I guess we're going to weld on all that. I have to cut those brackets off and notch that down where I need to. But it's gonna have a rake to it. Quite a bit of a rake, I think, depending on how I get that notched out from there to there. Oh. So I'm not entirely sure. The stance is still kind of a mystery. Highly unlikely. I think you guys will see the stance coming, because I need to either build brackets up front to keep it up higher. Then we haven't quite figured out if we're going to drop the engine down or not. We could, and give us air conditioning and well, I was going to do a head scoop on it. But yeah, I haven't decided. Depends on the linkage, all that kind of stuff. Steering, figure out how exhaust will run, what'll look cool, what'll keep support. Maybe I'll build brackets. It'll bring the hood down level with the bar. So maybe it only needs to come down a couple inches. We'll see. If so, I might have filler. Maybe. Leave it open for access space. Coming along nice. That bumper's gonna... Well, that hitch is a lack of a bumper. We'll have to build mud flat brackets. And then maybe a cover. I haven't decided. We'll talk to Gary. We'll see what he says. See what he thinks of that. But I gotta go check the Cherokee trailer I have. That's also a project you'll guys see later down the road, potentially. Finishing that up. No, there's no potential. You'll see that one. I have to cut a lot of weight out of it. It's real goddamn heavy. But, yeah, alright. I don't know how much more I'll do this evening other than kind of clean up, move stuff around, maybe mark things that need to be cut, come up with a plan. I need to hang my whiteboard up. But so that's how we're gonna look. I have to adjust the front over, and well, I gotta center everything up, but tire location, that is where it's gonna go. Of course, the frames are going to adjust. It's not gonna sit quite that high. It should adjust, and then it's gonna sit nose down. I'm not thinking too much, but still yet to be told. I have some frame on the underside here that I need to notch out, so that way we can get clearance there. But the whole rear end needs to slide this way anyway, so I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to cut roughly half an inch over and all of that side piece out, and then we'll be welding in a bunch, bracketry coming over. But I've got to move a few things, jack this up so I can get some stuff in there to weld. And then, let's see if I can get that to clear up. That over there, I need to, well, I thought it was going to go down further. So I got to finish cutting off some of those brackets up there, get some metal, weld that spot in. Then I need to create spacers so that we can fill this gap in the back. But I'm gonna bolt the front in where I've got a hole in the floor. Well, it's not a hole in the floor, it's a hole in this this frame section right here. I'm gonna bolt that in on both sides so that it stays stationary there, and then I can maneuver things around. And then take the wire wheel, clean all this crap off so that it can be welded in. But that should be about where it's gonna go. Hammer down some stuff inside, build some spacers for in the back, maneuver things over, take and get everything centered, but the back of it is where I believe it'll sit. Y'all, this is about to be some real sketch stuff because my attempts is to get it lowered down on to the rear suspension. I've got it bolted in the front, but I need to drop it in the rear. I've got it bolted here and I need to drop it back here. So I'm kind of decision, pulling all of this out of the way. But I need these to make a bad decision by jacking up the other side. So, let's see about making this bad decision. There we go. So, Monstrosity is sitting on her back feet. I've got some wooden blocks until I can get some spacer in there, but it's bolted in there. And that's what we're looking at. And I figure we get spacer and a plate to cover that so it looks like one solid unit, giving it one nice clean fender well. And then we can actually get quite a bit in here, in this area, as far as a gas tank and stuff. We might have to cut out that bracket in the middle, this bar, and this bracket. We could do that from underneath. But I've got it down just sitting on its own suspension weight, except for in the front. Now, with based where that's at right now, we've got quite a gap, but the front end will come down. It's probably going to have a nose down rake. We'll see how much. And then, of course, I've got to build spacers where it doesn't quite meet up once I get everything lined up. But there you go. That's what the back looks like so far. Well, yep, on its own suspension. Tire size, we're probably looking at easily 38s. Not a problem. 40s, anything bigger than that, and unfortunately, well, you might be able to. I think 40s would be the biggest right there. I need a tape measure. Okay, so right there's approximately a 31. Oh yeah, good set of 38s from what you've got. That'd be incredible. That would lift the truck 38 from 31. Outside diameter spread across from that. It's like a 6 inches taller than what you are right now on the rear. But yes, that shit's gonna be awesome. And then now I gotta do the front, but it should probably sit more like this, so the front of this will drop down. So from that point, that plastic will probably come down about 4 inches. And so nose down, kind of got a stance, so every time you gas it, it'll look like it's barking. Welcome back. It's Monstrosity. The Monstrosity. What are we doing? There we go. Okay. So, there's where we're at. Like I said in the last videos, there's a block holding level. It's bolted to the front. I'm going to do some plate work right there, box that in, get rid of that gap so that it's not kind of an obvious. And then I have been trimming and manipulating, taking out a small space here and here. Oh, I need a light. I need to add more lights to the garage. But small manipulation there, and a fair larger manipulation down here. They're about the same size on both sides, but now we'll be maneuvering them up and getting them set and seeing what we do from there. But now I'm going to set you guys up to check me out as I attempt to jack it up and get it in its spot. See how bad this goes. So, I notched it a little big, but we can put a plate there, it'll be fine. We'll get it boxed in. The gapping on the back's almost perfect. Too bad it's so dark you can't see. I know, light. Minor filler, but that'll be good. It's nice on the other side, but then I'll fix and connect that section of frame.
Let's pull this out just so we can test it. We'll run a meter across it. Cross that off the list.
I like how that looks. Oh yeah. I gotta build a brace in that area. Get a connector plate, maybe. Access to bolts, steering linkage, stuff like that. But up front, definitively, there will be some kind of brace right here. That'll also get more airflow across that section. But whole front end is going to come down probably 5-6 inches lower than the rear. But that is a good place. Now I've just got to figure out how to attach it so I can set it down and get all the welds. So I've got it welded in a few spots. Okay, yeah, you can see it. So far it's holding on its back weight, just sitting on the front, nothing on the rear is doing its thing. So we're going to jack it up and pull out the stands. Okay, one back stand. Hot damn. Well, I guess that is nose down, ass up, huh? Let's see. Let me get some tires on it and we'll see how it looks. I know we can put the same size tire all the way around it and go with it. We may do some floor modification in the back to bring it down more level. Or there will be... I really kind of like it. I definitely know the transmission and engine will be tilted down. I don't like how forward it sits. It's gonna mess with the oil pan. So we'll probably mess with those again. Yeah, no, I kind of like it. I want big tires. I'm gonna get my brother on that. Get him to get some wheels and tires over here. But yeah, there we go, folks. She is sitting on tires. Kind of looks like a kid on stilts. Next is doing this section right here, but now I can jack up the vehicle by suspension and do those things. But I'll fill in that frame section. It's 21 inches on both sides. That's awesome. Everything measured up. I think I'm 1/8 of an inch out in some areas here and there, but I think that's like give or take on the body section and stuff. But where it counts, everything is in line. I like where the hood sits. That's a good placement. The lights sit in a good spot. You can see both headlight, turn signal, the hood. You can just barely read the word Jeep. But I am on to the next section of the project. I do apologize with how much time lapse is going on with this one. I'm learning, getting my groove on and seeing how we play around. But hell yeah. So, Monstrosity's frame is officially locked in place. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on the front part of the cab that are welded to the frame. Then I got both sides welded in tonight, so the frame is complete as one unit. I still need to do something back here, fill in that so it looks like one solid piece. And then lucky, I didn't throw away the bumper covers. Kind of gives it a better complete look, allows for that bumper to be shaped in better. Make some cool mud flaps or something there. But both sides welded back into place, and now it's a complete chassis. I'm gonna have to cut and modify the front bumper cover to fit, and depending on where radiator and stuff sit, the winch will be able to hide back behind or just below it. Probably put it down somewhere right in here, but we'll see once I start fitting the radiator. But she will roll with a little physical maneuvering. But there we go. Howdy, howdy, folks. So this evening I've been working on putting in some bracing in there. I had some Wicked C channel that I was able to find in my scrap cabinet. So I've got oh, there's the template. Made a template to fit in so. And now I was changing blades and I actually almost forgot to hit the record button. So I'm doing this side and getting you guys along for the adventure. Let's see if I can hang you up and watch. I don't want to ruin the camera. We're gonna have this will hold up and see what we can get. Nope. Like, you might be part of the action this time. My clip that was holding my kit broke. And I'm waiting for an order to come in with a new one. So I'm trying to figure out some stuff. Aha! There we go. Cool. He's got to be involved. So, I got 3 bars welded in, and then I gotta get some plates to weld into those spaces on both sides. Got them over there. I got those bars cut on the floor, so that way I can weld them up over there. Oh, where's that? Nope, there it is. And be able to put them up right here. So, I've got those cut out. I've got that front piece welded in. I'm going to cut some plate to fill that spot up. And then there's going to be some notching in here, some more trimming and welding in, and then start out in the filling in that space. But welded, I can say it's fairly secure. I'll be doing more, so there will be less body flex, chassis flex of differences, but I think that should... Oop, too close. Whoa. The Grand. Hello, Grizzly. Well, frame rails are welded to frame body. Cleaned up. Kind of cleaned up. Need to be painted. But that is another section done. But she's in there. She's held in. It's welded. Can't weld good, weld a lot. And yes, I know it all looks like booger dog snot. Folks, that's what having fun is. Rigging it and running it. Because misrigged rigs.